We are going to talk about a movie.
This is gonna be a disaster.
It was one of the best movies of the year.
It's gonna go so well. Probably one of the last movies I would ever want to see in a theater. What is going on, everybody? Taylor here, joined by
Jacob London.
Yes, and today we are going to be doing something very new for this channel that I've never done before. We're going to be talking about Game of Thrones, and the reason that I've never done it on this channel before is because this past weekend I finally caught up to where we were.
So up until Saturday, you had never actually seen all of Game of Thrones?
No, not to, like, this is the first season I get to watch while it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
It's a little weird.
Mm.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because before it was like I would see spoilers and be like, cool, whatever. So we are going to talk about the first episode of this season.
Season 8, episode 1.
There's only 5 episodes left. I know. Alright, so first of all, what were you expecting going into this episode?
So my big expectation was basically what every episode 1 of season of a Game of Thrones is.
Right.
Basically your general, this is where all the pieces are. So there's no real... I wasn't expecting any major twists or turns or really like anything where we go afterwards and just have the big shock that everyone's talking about. I felt that I was expecting that this was the episode that, hey, welcome back.
Right.
It's been 20 months. You're back to Game of Thrones.
We're getting you back set up where...
But then I also did think it's only 6 episodes this season. Maybe they don't do that formula.
Which is difficult because this is a show where a lot happens. There's a lot of moving pieces, there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of different sets you could go to. So with only having 6 episodes, it is a little tougher to not at least jump in a little bit deeper first episode. You can still leave it where you're resetting up, getting everyone refreshed on where all the characters are and kind of what is going on if you didn't remember, or, you know, just kind of getting you back into it even if you did. So I definitely was expecting that. I was expecting it to be a welcome back, here's your characters, we're gonna take you pretty much directly from where we left off. I wasn't expecting any sort of time jumps or anything like that. And I was expecting not anything earth-shattering, but a couple things here and there, because you do have to start to lay the groundwork a little early when you only have 6 episodes to work with, and you have so many characters and so many storylines to tie up, and so much that you need to accomplish in those short episodes. So why don't we just jump right into to talking about it?
So, well, if we want to jump straight into the start, we've got a new logo. We've got the new title sequence.
The new title sequence, which is really cool.
Yeah, it was. I loved it. I thought it was different, especially considering we're only now realistically, we're in 2 locations.
Right. It's changed a lot in terms of we're only really focusing on
the North, or Winterfell, and King's Landing. Right. And effectively, this episode basically went, the wall is gone. Yeah. We are no longer going to the Night's Watch. That's it. There's
no wall. Yeah. We're not really concerned with anything other than what's happening in Winterfell, who we can get to Winterfell, or if you're in King's Landing, concerned with what's right there in front of you. We have very divided kingdoms right now in terms of, obviously, Cersei is still somewhat concerned with the North. She hasn't quite given in to what they were hoping that she might. But in the North, they're very much, we can't worry about her. We can't worry about Westeros. We very much have to deal with this threat. Yeah. And whoever we can get to join us, great. But if we can't...
Well, I think Jon is worried about that.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Okay. Because I know that Sansa is concerned, and a lot of the Northerners are concerned with what's going on, but they're very much more willing to accept that there is a threat than the people in Westeros.
In King's Landing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yes. I think that I think we should talk about something that you and I kind of talked about going into this season, which is I'm only going to give them about an episode and a half to explore what they're continuing to explore right now.
Yeah.
In terms of the reluctance.
Yeah. And I know that there will be a lot of people who are like, well, what do you expect? What do you expect that suddenly are you just expecting that these people to suddenly start working together? I'm not, and that's why I'm giving them the episode and a half. Get it out. Do that form of... Because obviously there's drama there. And I mean... and that to a certain degree, I was enjoying some of the moments. I think the most powerful moment of the episode comes later, where Daenerys and Sam meet. That was powerful, and that worked because it wasn't forced. Like, it was two characters who would naturally meet and naturally have an animosity, where it didn't feel, well, not animosity, but naturally I thought Sam reacted like a human. Yeah. And nothing where you sit... And so did Daenerys. I thought Daenerys acted... I thought she did too. And whereas in a lot of the stuff with Jon and Sansa, it feels contrived. It feels like we're pushing it a little bit. It does now,
a little bit. Because at first, you understand that. They come back together. They haven't spent time together in a long time. And even when they did, the last time we saw them together, they didn't get along all that well. So you have that awkward... not really sure where you stand, having a difference of opinion interaction. Now, I do get where people are saying it makes sense for Sansa to be a little cautious and not just want to jump head straight into, supporting another queen, or just she's not ready to do that. And I get it. But like we're saying, I'm not going to put up with that for the whole rest of the series, because I feel like when it does ultimately come to that, where the army of the dead show up on their doorstep and she's still not willing to acquiesce, then I'll be like...
What will annoy me will be if one of them leaves. When the army of the dead turn up, if they go, I'm not fighting because she's there, and they leave, that will annoy me, because you all have this common enemy. There is a common enemy. It's not as though this is for your right.
Well, that's why I like what Jon says, and everyone's like, oh, he's naive and he's idealistic, and he is in certain ways, but when it comes to this, he's right. It doesn't matter who's on the Iron Throne. It doesn't matter who has the right to the throne. It doesn't matter who you're fighting for. If you don't band together and defeat this actual common enemy, everyone is going to die.
Yeah, and
he's very much logical to me in this one, where sometimes he is. Sometimes he's too idealistic and the world can't be that way. But with this...
I think he's right. Once... they're defeated, the squabbling can come back.
Right.
And and in all honesty, if episode 3 or 4 or whenever the Army of the Dead, say that episode isn't the end of, like, say that is the end of the Army of the Dead, and then it becomes about the Iron Throne again, if there's squabbling back then, I could deal with it then.
Yeah.
It's just, it feels at the moment for me a little too contrived when every character in Winterfell especially knows there is this Army of the Dead coming, and it's not as though... I thought, like, Lady Mormont is one of my favourite characters. Like, I love her as a character. And I completely understood her speech in that moment. I did, and I'm glad they... But I kind of wish they went back to her where she was like... something about the Army of the Dead. Like, she acknowledges that we're not fighting for you at the moment. Like, we're fighting for you because of the Army of the Dead, or because there's this coming. And I think there needs to be that acknowledgement that the Army of the Dead take precedent over all of our petty squabblings.
Which I agree with, and we're both saying, if that continues to the point where people are abandoning when the army gets there, and it's just like... I just think that's taking it too far, because I get that the Northerners are very proud and they're very loyal, and they're, they only really trust the people of the North. I get that, but when it gets to a certain place, if you leave because you're over that whole thing and you go back to your own house, you're not going to survive.
No. Yeah, and
you're not going to survive.
And they have to, and smart characters in that moment know that.
Yeah.
Like there's that, and that's what Game of Thrones has always been able to do. Smart characters making, dumb decisions.
Yeah.
But at the same time, decisions based in their character.
Right.
And to me, if any of them decides, no, I'm leaving because of Daenerys, that wouldn't be based in the character or in what the information the characters know at that point.
Right.
Again, this is speculation about next week.
It is. We don't even know exactly what's going to go down. But speaking of Daenerys, there is something else I think we really need to talk about in this episode that we weren't sure was going to happen in this episode. No. And only half of it did.
Yeah.
We got Jon Snow finding out he is not a Jon or a Snow.
No.
Or a Stark.
No.
He is told that he is a Targaryen, and I'm very, very glad that Sam was the one to do it.
Yes, I thought that was really well handled, really well done. I loved that entire sequence, and I don't think there was any issue whatsoever in that sequence.
I don't think there was, and I think that it was particularly special. It was special because it was Sam and because of the relationship they've built over the entire show. But it was also special because of what Sam just learned before that about Daenerys executing his father and his brother. But him still being able to go up to Jon and, not let that
get to him, but at the same time
confront him about it. He was able to handle it in a way I think is mature, where he wasn't, he still was able to go talk to Jon, say what he needed to say, confront him, and it wasn't like, because when he left after he was told that, I thought he was just going to leave.
Yeah, and when he went over and talked to Bran, I thought, something could happen here. Something bad. And I was sitting there going, Jon's dealt with this before with Ollie.
I know.
And I was a little worried that we were gonna get Ollie again. And
which I wasn't worried it was gonna be quite to that extent, because I don't feel like Sam is that kind of...
No.
Even with a situation like that, I feel like that would be very out of character for Sam.
I did love the line of, at least I can go home now because my brother's
the
Lord. That was the heartbreak. Because, his father, he had kind of accepted it. My father, that makes sense. But when it was the brother as well, it was... Which to me hurt me too, because what we've seen of the brother, he wasn't like their father. No.
I get why in that moment he chose to stand with his father, but when you see him in other contexts, he's very much... he extends the hand out to Sam, and he's always been trying to kind of keep the peace a little less than his mom, because enough to kind of stay in line, but still show Sam that he cares about him. So that part just broke my heart. And I think it was just... I don't think they possibly could have set that scene up any better, because you have him meeting Daenerys, which we knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
And you have it being her extending her gratitude for saving Jorah.
Exactly.
And Jorah's there.
It was not a random bump in. It was, this is the man who saved my life. Yeah. This is the man who, and who Daenerys knows I owe a lot to. I am so thankful for.
Yeah.
And then suddenly to have it turn around. And I thought Emilia Clarke played that scene extremely well. Because she had to play it with regret, but at the same time, I did the right thing.
She had to keep her composure as a ruler.
Yeah, but she was able to find that balance where you could tell regret might not be the right word, but she I did the right thing. But I think it's just sympathy. Yeah,
it's sympathy of knowing, from what he has done and what Jorah has told me, we know he's a good man, and he's friends with Jon Snow, so we know he's a good person. And for her, I think that resonates a lot with having a father that I don't know, to me I feel like that just added more weight to that moment too, where it's, you are not your family, and sometimes your family isn't a representation of who you are, but it still hurts to know that you're losing family. And like, I don't know, I just didn't think that they could have possibly handled that situation better.
I think that was to me hands down the scene of the weekend.
I think so too.
I think so that is just a beautifully well done scene, heartbreaking, and just completely tears at you. But I thought that was handled extremely well, and I loved every second of it.
There's another thing we need to talk about. So based on you guys, I finally got what I've been hoping for seasons and seasons. We got the Arya Jon reunion.
We did.
Where his reunion with Sansa was good, his reunion with Bran was good, but I was waiting for his reunion with Arya, because the last time we saw them together, he was pretty much the only one other than Ned who was always like, if this is what you want to do, you do this. Here's this sword for you. Like, he was always her number one fan other than her father. And I was just waiting for it, and I was so happy that it didn't end up happening in front of the crowd. We got to have it where it was their moment, and like, it just felt so intimate. And that's not what we actually need to talk about, but it connects to that.
Well, yeah, before we go, I just wanted to say one thing that I did love. Yeah. The opening shot of the kid running through, just so reminiscent of Arya, and the little cut to Arya smiling, recognizing that was me. I did like that, because we're starting to get the humanity of Arya back.
Yeah, it's starting to come back a little bit.
It's coming back a little. Winterfell is bringing back. She's never going to be Arya who was that little kid.
No, of course not.
Ever again. But we're starting to get a little bit of a humanity back of, I'm not just a cold-blooded killer.
Exactly. And her scene with, what's his name? Gendry?
Yeah, Gendry. That
really showed it a lot.
Yes.
You could tell that she was so happy to have her banter partner back. Someone that she went through stuff with, but that she still has good memories with too. And you could tell just by the way they were talking to each other that. But just before that with the Hound. Yeah, I know. That was a good reunion. That was a good reunion. I thought, I
on the whole, I think all the reunions and all the moments, on the whole, worked really well.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think there was any that really stood out as just plain like.
That we're just kind of like, oh, you didn't really need to show that.
But on the whole, I thought they all worked well. But yes, we do need to get to this thing.
So, when Jon and Arya are talking, it starts to veer towards, protecting the family versus protecting kind of what we talked about earlier, where you're either allegiant to Stark or you're allegiant to protecting all of Winterfell and kind of disregarding whether it's Starks versus whoever. And we've come to the conclusion that Arya definitely knows.
Arya knows 100% that she is not
he's not a Stark and not a Snow and not
that he is a Targaryen.
Because if you listen to how she says what she says to him at the very last little bit.
The line was, I wish I wrote it down, but the line is something like it is, but I'm family too, and I'm family as well. He says, Jon says to her, and she says, and don't just hang on to that or something. Like it's a kind of like in spirit you are.
It's basically like he's basically like, I care about, like, I'm family too, and she basically says something along the lines of remember that.
Something like that.
Which to me sounds like, she's not saying it in a bad way. She obviously is hugging him and she cares about him a lot, but I think she's more saying it as, when you figure out that you're not a Stark, remember that Sansa and I are trying to protect the Stark name.
And also remember.
Well, of course.
Lyanna is your mother.
Well,
you are a Stark.
You are.
You do have Stark blood.
No, I think that's not the important part. I think the important thing is, because it's Lyanna, people will refer to him as a Targaryen. Yeah. Like, and I know that's a stupid weird. Like, he is still technically a Stark, but because of the Targaryen part of him, that's going to be, I think, what more people end up paying attention to. And something we were saying in this episode, before he found out, I was wondering if Daenerys was gonna find out before him, and just have some sort of chaos, which didn't happen. But I have no idea what is gonna happen when she finds out.
Well, I like the fact that they found out separately, because I mean, I do and I don't. I do because it was able to be a moment between Sam and Jon. Yeah. But then when he mentioned treason, and it just felt not right now. Like, I get that's Game of Thrones, where you go like that is the one that I'm like, okay, I can kind of okay with that one, because obviously that is a huge power dynamic. Yeah. Like, that changes a lot of things. Yeah. And when Daenerys finds that out, that is going to change a lot.
It is. It's going to change a lot about their relationship. Yep. And I think that it's going to... It's really interesting, because I can't decide what I think is going to happen in terms of how the people in Winterfell feel about it. Because he is still a Stark. Obvious. Like, he is actually a Stark, which they'll stand behind, I think. But he's also now actually the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms rightfully. Like, that is his to claim and not hers, which I think is going to make things worse for her. Yes. Because some of them are reluctantly accepting her, a lot of them aren't. And as soon as he's actually the rightful king and he's a Stark, I just think I don't see that going well for her.
But obviously Davos is absolutely correct in all of this. Those two need, like, realistically, the realistic option for both of them going forward is they do need to get married.
I think so.
In terms of just power plays, moves, everything, alliances, all of that, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And however, that is not how Game of Thrones works.
Oh, I know. I know. In a perfect world, that would make sense.
One other big thing that I do want to mention that I did notice in this episode, Tyrion has done something. Yeah. There is no... Okay, so there's been a lot of theories over the last 18 months about what deal did he make with Cersei.
Right, because no one knows what happened.
Yeah, no one knows that deal. What deal did he make with Cersei? Bran... The look on Bran's face shows he clearly knows Tyrion did something. Because the way he looks at Tyrion is he did something. I'm very curious, and the way that, and Tyrion, the look on Tyrion's face when he looked at Bran staring up at him looked as though he knows he knows I've done something. Yeah. Now I don't think it's a betrayal, I don't think it's a straight up betrayal of Daenerys. I think it's I'm trying to do what you want, which is break the wheel. And I don't know how he's like, but Daenerys is kind of getting to a point where she's not gonna break the wheel. Like that conversation last season of succession. Yeah. That is one of the single most important conversations Daenerys had to have even before she was on the throne. Yeah. She needed to have that conversation of who is her successor. Yeah. Well, you need to know that if you want to break the wheel. If you do not want just rulers upon rulers, you need to know who is your successor. Yeah. Who comes after you before you even get there. Yeah. Tyrion is right in that regard. Yeah. And I think he is now plotting to make sure that the wheel gets broken. And he has made a deal with Cersei, I believe, to ensure that. And I don't know what that is, but it's clear that Bran knows.
Of course Bran knows.
I think Bran knows it, but then Bran also has the best cliffhanger moment where he sees Jaime.
Oh, when Jaime shows up in Winterfell and he gets off that horse and he turns and the first person there just staring right at him is Bran. We finally get our full circle moment of...
I love... And, he plays that so well. Yeah. Because there's the realization of who's that? Who that is, and the regret.
Yeah,
and
it's on his face,
and you can feel not the regret, but also the remorse.
Yeah,
oh my god, that's who I like. Yeah. My actions had consequence, and you can see that. And we are really starting to get it. This season is going to be a lot about remorse and regrets. I feel like it could be. I just think that to me it's really nice that we get that full circle moment with Jaime, but his character development has come so far that he's back in Winterfell staring at Bran, and he has a completely different attitude. He's a completely different character, essentially. He is completely different than when it happened. It's just insane to me that we've just come that far with him, because I'm interested to see what, because we saw the little teaser for next week, and Daenerys is right. You've got the man who killed her father. Yeah. The man who made Bran a cripple. Yeah. The man who plotted to who ultimately caused Ned Stark to die. Yeah. Like, there's not a person in Winterfell right now who wants him alive other than Tyrion. And Tyrion is already not in the good books. No, he's not. But I would be very interested to see what Bran has to say, because I feel like Bran is going to have something to say about why Jaime is there. Yes, I do. I'm interested how Jon is going to feel. Because I have a feeling Jon is not going. Jon is going to react in the same way he did with Greyjoy. The first time he saw Greyjoy. You think so? I think that's going to be his reaction. This is the man who caused the man who he saw as a father to die. Yeah. This is the man who caused his brother to be a cripple. Yeah. Greyjoy pretended that he killed them. Yeah. Like, this is the guy who did it. I know, but I also think I think they are actually going to have to spend some time on why he's shown up there. Yeah. Because clearly he's by himself. There's no army. No. And there's gonna be that you're here to betray us. Like, there will be that, like, of course there will be. And you saw it in the little teaser. He's in a court. Yeah. Like, he's basically on trial in that moment. Pretty much. Prove why you are here. So I'm excited for. I'm very, very interested. We also said it next week is clearly either the setup. I will be shocked if they do, considering what we have heard about the battle. Yeah. I will be shocked if that's next week. Yeah, I think it has to be just the setup. It'll be the setup. It'll be Jaime's trial. It'll be them being like, we literally have 1 day left. Daenerys probably finding out. Probably. Yeah. Which is really going to make things very... That scene of her in the crypt. Yeah. I think that's where he tells her, and he's like, look. I'm very interested how he decides to tell her. If he tells her, or if... Yeah, I'm... Because... I'm just interested because, like we said, we're pretty sure Arya knows. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Sansa knows. Sansa obviously knows. Yeah, Sansa knows. So, like, I'm just curious what they're, like... Yeah, You know what I mean? Like, because Arya only hinted it at him. Mm. She didn't say anything. She could have, but she didn't. Yeah, no. Bran had, Sam tell him, so, like, he kind of was like, I'm not doing this. And we haven't really... Like, I mean, other than when Sansa found out, we haven't really... Yeah. Like, I'm just very interested in how... Yeah, everyone... Internally, this is going to work. Yeah. because it's tough. It's tough when, yes, he's still a Stark, but not in the way we grew up with. Yeah. And not... But he's the son of the man who we all hated. Yeah. Like, he's is... He's a Stark, but... Yeah, like... Like a big, big butt. Yeah. So, the other... So, that's Winterfell. We've talked about Winterfell. That's Winterfell. That's everything in Winterfell. Winterfell was abandoned for so long, and now it's like... Yeah, and what I... But, yeah, so, we've covered Winterfell. Yeah. Okay. Part of me loved what happened in King's Landing, and another part thinks... this was a little weird. So, Euron, I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's a word for it.
Euron is really starting to take over that Ramsay role of I am just the worst.
Yeah.
He's nowhere near Ramsay or Joffrey.
He's not cruel like that. He's just gross.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten to that point yet of being completely despicable.
Where you're just like,
yeah,
there is not a single good bone in your entire body.
He hasn't gotten to Ramsay or Joffrey level, but he's basically Theon back in season 2 or 3.
Basically, yeah.
So yeah, and I really I liked his conversation with Yara. I thought that was good. Cersei, I was a little disappointed in how she acted, but then it kind of redeemed itself at the end where it's clear, at least I think she is still manipulating him into, alright, I'm pregnant, he's now the father.
Yeah. I think that's completely the only reason that she's even entertaining keeping him around is because now that Jaime's gone and she doesn't have Jaime there, she can't embrace that like she was, because she was completely ready to embrace that and tell the world and say, I'm your queen, this is how it goes, this is what it is. And now that Jaime's decided to bail, she can't do that. She needs another person, and not just any person. She needs a person that at least have some sort of claim to something. Yeah. And that's the closest she has right now that also is giving her resources.
So to me it makes sense. We got a tease of the Golden Company. I'm fairly excited to see what the Golden Company actually is. I mean, they're essentially the other version of the Unsullied.
Basically.
So from what I've heard, they're the other version of not a book reader either, by the way. I probably should have said that. They're the other version of the Unsullied. So Daenerys has the Unsullied, she'll have the Golden Company. Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm very anxious and not sure how I feel about our man's new mission.
Yeah, so where Bronn.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really well done scene.
I thought so.
I'm so curious what Bronn does.
I am too.
Because I have a feeling we could be talking about Bronn getting one of them. Yeah. I do think he will get one of them, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's a Jaime sacrifices himself for Tyrion or the other way around or something happens. Yeah. So
I don't know. It's just, to me, he has two options. He either goes and kills one of them and drags the body back to Cersei, and he's pretty much set for life if she stays on the Iron Throne. Or he leaves and literally never comes back because he doesn't plan on killing any of them. Yeah. So he can never go back unless he comes back with one of them.
Yeah. But what I do love is about Bronn's character is this is in character.
Yeah, either way would be in character.
Because we have spent an entire series establishing that he only cares, he only really is looking out for himself. Yeah. It's what can I get out of all of this in a human way. Yeah. And you know, he's not a complete jerk or anything. He's just looking out for himself.
He just does what he does for himself. Yeah. And like he says, he's just sellsword. Whoever has the most money to give him.
Exactly. And so that would make sense. However, at the same time, it is obvious that him and Jaime have a really good friendship or a close friendship. I mean,
so him and Tyrion.
Yeah, and him and Tyrion. Yeah. So it will be interesting to see, and that's a drama there that I would love. I'm very curious to see what he's going to do. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get that next episode. I think that'll be after the battle for Winterfell.
Yeah, I don't think they'll throw that into the mix quite yet.
Yeah, I think that's in the last 3 episodes.
But this is only after 1 episode.
We're one down.
There's so much to talk about, and I know. But what did you guys think of this episode? What are your theories? Please leave them in the comments, because there are so many theories flying around. There's so much that could possibly happen. This could go literally anyway.
Yeah.
That it's just, I mean, you know, even book readers wouldn't be able to
They got no idea at the moment.
No one has any idea what the heck is going on. So thank you guys for watching. Please let us know if you enjoyed this, if you want us to keep talking Game of Thrones, because like I said, we've never done this on the channel before. So if you enjoyed it, please let us know. Hit that thumbs up.
Yep.
If you want to see more of our Game of Thrones talk or just random talk about random stuff, you can find us on social media. Twitter is full of Game of Thrones right now, if you'd like to go.
Absolutely is.
If you'd like to go see all of the Game of Thrones memes and whatnot that I've been throwing up on there. But, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's
right?
about it.
I mean, other than checking out our Patreon, which you should totally go do if you haven't done that already, because it's pretty cool. But thank you guys for all of your support, and we will see you next time.
See you.